Hi.
Hi. Bruce, I can imagine how you would have reacted when you were asked this in your last class.
Huh?
Do I really need to ask for volunteers during the responsibility matrix session when everyone already knows whose task it is?
Yeah, I remember that. Yes, it's tough. When people are first exposed to the idea of the responsibility matrix, they're coming from a perspective of always delegating work to other people, and they think that's a normal way of doing things, and they think that asking for a volunteer is a weak thing to do. But about 5 minutes into the responsibility matrix session, when they're actually doing it, they realize the value. Because here's what happens. Even if everybody knows it's Tina's job to run this test, and the temptation is just to say, okay, Tina, you're doing this, you lose some power. Because if instead you were to say, hey, who does this, or maybe in that particular case you might say, Tina, this is your job, right? And give her the opportunity to volunteer, we get the power of this philosophy that commitments made in front of others are more lasting than commitments made one-on-one, which is why coming-of-age ceremonies, weddings, inductions to office, they're always done in a public setting. So people publicly are making this commitment in front of everybody. They're much more likely to live up to that commitment than if they were just told, hey, you have to do this. And so the project manager gets a lot of power. And so when it comes time for that task to actually come around, Tina's been walking by my office where the responsibility matrix has been posted the whole time, and she's seen her name, and she's seen that she remembers that commitment she made in front of the rest of the team. And so the week before that task is due, I can come up to Tina and say, hey, remember when you committed to do this? When Mary finishes her job, it'll be your job, Tina, to start working on that. Can you clear your desk and get prepared so you can just work on that? And when I ask that, she remembers the 12 people that were in the room when she made that commitment, and she's just much more likely to actually do that work at that time because she's made that commitment. So we want to keep commitments must be visible. We want to keep that commitment out there where people can look at that, and then they're more lasting if they're done in a public setting.
That's some very compelling insight. So it's safe to say that the PM gets a lot of power by allowing the team member to volunteer as opposed to delegating that work.
Exactly.
Thank you.